8:22 is the time. I'm Sam Greenfield, and this is the morning show at 1160 WVNJ. And our guest is someone who I literally, although electronically separated from, grew up with in the 60s. Paul Peterson, one of the stars of the Donna Reed Show, a teen idol, an author, and founder and progenitor of A Minor Consideration, an organization that looks out for the welfare of child performers, to which Mr. Peterson has spoken on extensively. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very glad to have you on the show. I am a big fan of yours because of what you've done after your acting career kind of ended. Your work for Minor Consideration. I don't know if you're going to remember this, but I've never forgotten this interview you had. You talked about why it was so difficult for a kid in performing, and you used this example. You said, first of all, you get called out of school to go to an audition, so right away you're different from everybody else. Do you remember saying this?
Of course.
And then
one of the nice things about this advocacy is the patterns remain the same, and I don't have to make it up every day.
No,
this is like common knowledge, and we've got to start applying these lessons to each and every generation of young performer.
And then you said, so first of all, so you feel odd because you're called out of class. Then you go to an audition, and at that age, a young age, everybody in the audition room auditioning looks like you, sounds like you, is your height, has your hair color.
Right.
And then, and this is the part that really rocked me, you said that you used to see parents beating their children in the parking lot if they didn't get the part.
Absolutely true. Harassing their children to learn lines in a second, and then the kid goes into the office and freezes up.
Falls apart.
Can't tell the truth to usually the mom who was driven him there. I remember one Thursday afternoon I was supposed to pitch for my Little League team, and my mother, this is honest to God the truth, drove out onto the field and pulled me off the pitching mound, said, "You have an interview at Cascade, we've got to go." How embarrassing.
You never forget that as long as you live.
Oh, you just don't. And of course, when you make the interview rounds, you begin to know who the players are. You know the kids you can talk to about baseball or how you doing in school, and hey, how's your sister doing? And in the case of, in my experience, it was the same 50 or 100 kids going out for the job, and I got more than my share, Sam. So there was this, you establish a pecking order. It's like, oh, God, we're all going to the interviews at Paramount, and one kid comes away with a job, and it happened to be Houseboat, which was a big movie with Cary Grant and Sophia Loren.
And Sophia Loren.
Yeah.
And Marie Hamilton.
Yes, that's right. Martha Heyer, Harry Gardino. And, of course, I'm still friends with the kids who played my brother and sister, Mimi Gibson, Ray Hall, and Charlie Herbert.
For the most part, and we're talking to Paul Peterson, who is the founder of A Minor Consideration, for the most part, and I don't know the statistics on this, and you do most of the kids grow up okay, or is it the fact that those who don't fall so far that it's shocking?
Well, it depends on how you measure. If the kid turns out to be really famous, I mean a really high-profile young performer, the average is about 1/3 fall off the rails, 1/3 are a little affected, and frankly, 1/3 do pretty well. They find a way to transition into adulthood in a positive fashion. But there's almost a formula. Well, there is a formula, and it was given to me by Jackie Cooper when I was writing Walt, Mickey, and Me. This is in 1976. He shared this with me. He said, "Paul, first you look at the composition of the family. Is it a single-parent home, mom and dad? Is it intact? Are there a lot of siblings? Then you look at the nature of the child's career. Are they an all-American boy like you, or are they a Linda Blair in The Exorcist that scared the heck out of all of us? And then you ask the key question, at what time, at what age did their career come to an end? You know, when Hollywood is done with you and you're 14 years old and a vulnerable female, still trying to get comfortable with your body, the end of your career has significant effects when you're that vulnerable. if you're 20, as I was, there are another set of circumstances that surround you. So Jackie Cooper was a very wise fellow, and I have used these measuring sticks successfully for the past 30 years.
There's someone you worked with. There's a real dichotomy in someone you worked with, and I mean how they turned out, and the person that, from what I read, spurred you to found this organization, A Minor Consideration, that looks out for young performers.
Mm-hmm.
Shelley Fabaret was your co-star,
right?
Your sister on the Donna Reed Show,
of
and
whom
she won.
Hugely.
I'm
proud.
sorry.
I just said I'm hugely proud of her.
Exactly, because she went from that show to having hits, hit songs.
Well, hit songs. She had 3 movies with Elvis. 5
Right.
years on Brian Keith, 9 years on One Day at a Time. Then Coach, of course. She's had a remarkable career, but most important, Sam, she is an 8-year survivor of a liver transplant, and she looks wonderful and is flourishing.
That beats everything else I said to death.
Yeah.
And it also puts stuff. No, doesn't it? It puts everything in focus. Oh, well, look, she had a 7-year run on Coach. Yeah, but she also had a new liver.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And it's funny for me. I try not to look at the highly visible successes if you land an acting job when you're in your 30s or 40s, because what I'm really interested in, and what I'm sure you and your listeners will agree, it's the character that counts. How did this person turn out? Are they a good parent? Are they a dependable friend? Are they making a contribution to society? Because actors don't get to do that very often. Most of them are, frankly, very difficult to deal with.
Do you think that the drive that makes someone successful in not directing, in acting, mm-hmm. I think there's a certain drive that supersedes talent. I think that in Hollywood, drive can sometimes supersede talent. Your desire to have that.
I agree with you. Mostly, I find actors, good, especially the good ones, to be pretty much, as a personality, a blank slate. They take on the characters that are written for them. Now, and that's a great skill, so long as you're not a manipulative person.